Justice was created to protect people, but sometimes it turned into pure torture. History is full of punishments so horrific they make you question, were humans doing this to each other? From ancient torture methods to modern psychological torment, we're about to explore 10 of the most brutal punishments ever recorded. These aren't myths, they were legal, documented, and often carried out in front of cheering crowds. Warning, some of this may be disturbing, but to understand history, we can't just look at the pretty parts. Welcome to the darkest side of humanity. Scaphism, eaten alive by insects. In ancient Persia, there was a punishment called scaphism, and it's pure nightmare fuel. The victim was placed between two wooden boats with only their head, hands, and feet exposed. Then they were force-fed milk and honey, smeared with more and left out in the sun. Insects swarmed, laid eggs, and slowly ate the person alive, from the outside in. To make things worse, they were kept alive for days, even weeks. This wasn't just execution, it was controlled decay. Scaphism wasn't justice, it was a public message. Betray the king and the bugs will finish you off. Brazen bull, roasted alive in bronze. In ancient Greece, a man named Perilos invented the brazen bull, a hollow, bronze statue built for torture. Victims were locked inside and a fire was lit underneath. They were roasted alive, and their screams echoed through pipes designed to sound like a bull roaring. It was theater, soaked in suffering. And the irony? The inventor himself, Perilos, was the first to be burned alive inside it, a gift to the cruel tyrant Phalaris. A reminder that sometimes the tools we create can consume us first. Lingchi, or death by 1,000 cuts, was a legal execution method in Imperial China until 1905. The victim was tied up, then slowly sliced with a small knife. Cheeks, chest, arms, stomach. Executioners were trained to keep them alive through dozens or hundreds of cuts. Some victims endured over 300 slices while still conscious. It wasn't just to kill, it was to erase the person completely. In Confucian belief, dying without a whole body was deeply shameful. Lingchi was both physical agony and spiritual destruction. Breaking wheel. Bones shattered in public. Medieval Europe had no shortage of brutality, but the breaking wheel stands out. The victim was tied to a giant wooden wheel. One by one, their limbs were smashed with a hammer. Sometimes they were woven into the wheel and hoisted on a pole, left to die slowly, picked apart by birds. This wasn't quick. It was drawn out, loud, and performed in front of crowds. The purpose? Pain and a clear warning to anyone watching. Break the law, and your body will be broken too. Impalement, the spike of fear. Few punishments were more terrifying than impalement, most famously used by Vlad the Impaler in medieval Romania. A sharpened stake was inserted through the victim's anus or stomach, then hoisted upright. They would slowly slide down, often surviving for hours, even days. Vlad allegedly impaled over 20,000 people, lining the roads with them to terrify enemies. This wasn't just punishment. It was psychological warfare, death as a public art installation. Iron Maiden, a death hug of spikes. The Iron Maiden, a metal coffin lined with inward-facing spikes, is one of history's most infamous torture devices. The victim was locked inside. As the door closed, the spikes pierced their body, not killing immediately, but causing slow bleeding. The thing is, it might be fake. Many historians now believe the Iron Maiden was a myth or museum invention from centuries later, never actually used in real torture. But even if it wasn't real, the fact that it was believable shows how far we imagine pain could go. Sometimes, the idea of cruelty is just as powerful as the act itself. Stoning, death by the crowd. Stoning is one of the oldest punishments in human history, and tragically, it still happens today. The victim is tied or buried waist deep. Then, a crowd throws stones at them until they die. Nobody knows who killed them because everyone shares the blame. It's used as community justice, often against women and often for moral crimes. It's slow, public, and deeply humiliating. It's proof that sometimes the most inhumane punishment is handed down by your own neighbors. Death by elephant, crushed by royal power. In ancient India and Southeast Asia, elephants were used not just in war, but in executions. These royal beasts were trained to crush skulls, limbs, or entire bodies on command. Some could even draw it out, breaking arms first, then legs, then the head. It was a symbol of absolute power. A king didn't just sentence you to death, he let 6 tons of divine muscle do it for him. It was judgment, delivered by a godlike animal. Strappado, dislocated by rope. Used by the Inquisition, Strappado was a brutal torture that left no scars, just broken joints. The victims' hands were tied behind their back, then they were hoisted into the air by a rope. Suddenly, they were dropped, dislocating their shoulders instantly. This was repeated again and again until they confessed. Many were left crippled for life. Strappado didn't need blood, just a rope, gravity, and cruelty. Modern torture, silent, clean, psychological. Today, torture still exists, just more clinical. White torture uses no color, no noise, no light variation. Victims are isolated in pure white rooms for weeks, months, or years. They begin to lose identity, sense of time, even memory. Other methods include sleep deprivation or blasting loud music, sometimes Baby Shark, for hours. No scars, no bruises, but the mind collapses. This is modern torture. No fire, no blade, just a quiet war inside your head. If you found this glimpse into history's darkest corners fascinating, don't forget to hit subscribe. We dive into shocking stories, forgotten facts, and the brutal truths of our past every single week. Like, share, and turn on the bell so you never miss